So, this is a big question and a big debate in the field of psychedelics. There is some preliminary evidence to suggest that there's belief change that comes out of these experiences. And we have seen that, there's a study done at Imperial College that people after a single psilocybin experience greater sense of connection to nature. They feel they're more part of nature rather than standing outside nature. Less tolerance for authoritarian behavior. It all seems to push people in what at least people, progressives and people on the left, would think is a positive direction. I don't think we can say that yet with confidence. I think, and the reason is that I think most of the people who are in these trials tend to already have those inclinations, and that they are, environmentalists, and they are, believers in democracy rather than authoritarianism. And until we actually try those experiments and those surveys on people across the political spectrum, giving psilocybin to the Koch brothers, say, or people like that who are not well disposed to the environment and are committed to fossil fuels. Let's see if they change their beliefs. It could be that psychedelics reinforce beliefs we already have, deep beliefs. Or it could be that it changes them. And I think that's a really important research question. Certainly
What's your hunch on that, Michael? Because, in my experience and from people I know and everything like that, it forces you to be humble. It really does show you that that you're weak, and in the big scheme of things, can bring you to your knees. So, I mean, what is your hunch on which side? What, reinforce or shake up beliefs on those guys?
I think shake up, but I think the shaking up has to do with, again, the context and how, the intention people have when they're doing it, the set and the setting. I think in general, I mean, I share your belief that egotistical thinking is at the root of a lot of our problems, including the environmental crisis. If you feel separate from nature, if you feel you're the only subject that really counts, you're going to feel pretty good about, killing other things and having your way with nature. I'm very interested in the belief change around animism. There's some really interesting research that's been done at Johns Hopkins that shows that people are much more likely to see plants as conscious, even objects as conscious, after a single psilocybin trip. And that attributing of consciousness is kind of a sharing of your ego, opening up the gates and joining hands with other entities.
Yeah.
So to the extent that egotistical thinking is at the root of a lot of our problems, and this subject-object duality, and this, where the object is an object and is subject to our manipulation, even when the object is other people, anything that softens egos is probably taking us in the right direction. Yeah. With the proviso, however, that we have many cases of people who take psychedelics and undergo incredible ego inflation.
Really?
So what's that about? Why does that happen?
Wow.
I mean, think of Timothy Leary. There's there's a whole tradition of people whose ego kind of got out of control on psychedelics. And some of that is a very evangelical instinct. They sort of feel like, oh my God, I've got the key to the universe. I understand everything. Come listen to me. So more research needs to be done. I know people hate that answer, but it's absolutely true. And it's fascinating research. And, I'm involved with some of it at Berkeley.
I wanted to ask you.
Research.
I know you're at the forefront of it. Yeah.
And I'm not conducting the research, but I'm working with these scientists and helping to raise money for this work. And we're going to look at belief change and see if we can't come up with some experiments that'll give us some better answers. But the answers are really intriguing and encouraging. I just think we're not quite there yet.
Sure.